beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel, Roseology. So this is another video all about the full moon. You guys know I love to bridge together astrology and tarot here on my channel and in my content. It's all about energy. It's all energy related topics and discussion. And so this video is for everyone. It's for all signs. It doesn't matter if you're a Gemini, if you're a Sagittarius, it doesn't matter what sign you are. This is for the collective. So this video being all about the full moon in Gemini it definitely has a vibe to it. This is the final full moon of 2019, and that's happening this December 12th. Yes, that is 12/12. So for me, I've been under this energy of releasing, shedding, saying goodbye. And it is somber, but really liberating and cleansing and exciting and fresh all at the same time. So hopefully this video won't be too long today for you guys. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. But if you only want access to certain parts or topics discussed in this video, then you can head to the description or the comment section for the timestamps to different topics and subjects in this video. I'll be discussing the astrological placements, the energy that they bring, the energy that the planets and the constellations and the stars and the heavens are going to be bringing for this full moon in Gemini, because I say it all the time here on my channel. I read the language of energy, so pinpointing the details and specifics of how that energy exchange is going to manifest in your life is all up to you. So we'll be breaking down the astrology charts, a few important placements in the charts. I'll be discussing different crystals, herbs, oils, candles, and objects that you can work with for this full moon in Gemini. And I have a tarot spread here to get an even more in-depth look at this full moon. So if you're ready, grab a pen, some paper, some snacks, unless you're like me and are currently on a cleanse. But yeah, pen, paper, snacks, drinks, wine, whatever it is that floats your boat. And let's check out how the universe plans to say goodbye to 2019. All right, you guys, so before getting to the astrological placements, the astrological chart for this full moon in Gemini, we need to understand exactly who Gemini is. We need to understand his energy, because each constellation, which is just different zodiac signs, they all bring their own energy to the forefront. And when these energies combine, mix together, they sort of create this new energy. And this is the energy that we're going to be talking about, that we'll be experiencing for the full moon. So starting off with Gemini, who is he? So Gemini is a mutable air sign that is ruled by Mercury, the god of the mind, communication, technology, local travel. But I see Mercury as the god of contact, because that's how I see communication. I see it as contact between two different entities, two different sources. Sometimes it's more than two different entities or sources. But I see him as the god of contact, because Mercury delivers information from one source to the next. And that's why Gemini is depicted as the twins. And that's not because Gemini is moody or ambiguous in nature, but because Gemini is the sign of messages, contact, delivering information from one source to the next, and being receivers of that information. Gemini is also the keeper of information. So Gemini is all about, what do you know? What information have you gathered from others, from different life experiences? Gemini filters through that information and keeps or passes along what it deems effective or functional knowledge, useful knowledge that we can use, or somebody else or the collective can use later on. So this is why when Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, Mercury also rules Virgo as well, but we're not really going to be talking too much today about Virgo, because I want to keep this Gemini oriented. But basically, this is why when Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, goes retrograde, we feel a little mentally unstable or not as mentally secure, because our mindset and thoughts and perception is being reworked or transformed. And that is the blessing that comes with Gemini not being too committal, is the fact that he can bounce from one source to the next, because he's weighing all of this different information, what makes sense to him versus what doesn't. So as he's filtering through all these different things, he is kind of taking the information that seems useful. And so Gemini has this very wise sense to him, where it's about, this is useful information and this isn't. So while he's very practical, very technological, he's very airy kind of in his mind, he knows how to select knowledge, he knows how to select information, and that's what makes him so wise, is the fact that he can say, this is good, useful information, and this isn't. This is something that I need to pass along, this is something I need to keep to myself. So he's very wise in that, very balanced in that understanding. So a full moon in the sign of Gemini, and this being the final full moon, is everything, because we are processing the information information that lives within our subconscious. And that's what the moon is. She is our emotional being. She is our instincts, who we are at our core. Emotions are divine and they are pure because they are not influenced by us. They just appear and we feel how we feel for whatever reason. That's the moon. She is our instincts, okay? And this, our instincts, is obviously something that can't necessarily be manipulated or influenced. Not too much, not in the way that we think. You know, when they appear, they just kind of appear. The heart wants what it wants. So this is just instinctually us at our core. So this final full moon of the year happening in the sign of Gemini is the finale of a process in ridding ourselves of useless information. When the moon is opposite the sun during a full moon, she is declaring independence, okay? You know, you guys know I talk about this in my new and full moon videos, and I'm so sorry that I keep going over the same information, but I want to make sure that everybody has a very nice basic understanding of exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Back to what I was saying, during a new moon, the moon is sitting particularly close to the sun, and I always see that as the moon sacrificing herself, sacrificing her light to the sun. And when there's a full moon, the moon and the sun, they are opposing each other. They're 180 degrees apart. So like I said before, it's kind of like they're sitting at opposite ends of the dinner table, and the moon is almost challenging the sun. When she is opposite the sun and she is big, bright, bold in the sky, you can clearly see her, because during a new moon, when she's sitting close to the sun, you can't see her at all. But during a full moon, when she's opposing the sun, it's almost like she's like trying to claim her own spot in the sky, claim her own spot as this light fixture in the sky. So I always see the full moon as her declaring her own independence from the sun. She opposes or rejects the sun because she has built up enough energy to light up the sky on her own. The sun is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is a sign that is all about potential. And I talked about this in a lot of detail in my Sagittarius and new moon video, and I'll link that down below. It's titled, "What is my purpose?" But Sagittarius is all about potential, and that's why he is depicted as the archer, because he shoots his arrow to see how far it can go. And that arrow is just simply a representation of how far he can go. It's an embodiment of his own potential. And that's why Sagittarius is a wanderer. He's an explorer, and he is the sign that is linked to higher education, higher religion, and spirituality, because he is exploring these greater principles and knowledge. So to have the full moon in Gemini, this is all about disposing of old limiting information and beliefs, these old cycles, patterns, behaviors, and ways of thinking and communicating that must be stripped away for us to embrace these new findings that Sagittarius is bringing to us. Sagittarius gives us the courage to say, okay, for a good amount of years of my life, or for X amount of years, I operated like this, but now I'm starting to see another way or a different perspective. And sometimes that can be scary, especially when it comes to topics like religion. Many people during Sagittarius season or Jupiter transits, they find themselves exploring different spiritual practices or religions because we are searching to resonate with a deeper part of ourselves and this interconnectedness that we share with the collective. And I talked about this in my new moon and Sagittarius video over and over and over again, about how Jupiter is all about resonance. It's all about that connection. It's all about feeling. I sounded like a broken record talking about Jupiter and resonating, but anyways, so Gemini full moon is challenging us to strip ourselves away of our old ways, of talking, communicating, and thinking. This full moon is daring us to walk away from our old life and patterns to embrace that next step or next phase in life. But we cannot move forward if we are trapped in the same cycles and patterns of thought. Our thoughts or perception directly influence our reality and environment. What we think becomes. So if we continue with the same mindset, we'll produce the same outcome. We'll stay caught in the cycle of reproducing the past. So this is all about releasing that old life and that old way of being, that old way of thinking. And we do that by reinventing the mind. That's where it all starts. Spirituality has a lot a lot to do with psychology and the functions of the brain. So many different factors play into the life we live. But when we become aware of that, we take control over that reality, and we start to see how easily our reality can be shaped. At least we become aware of that possibility, right? So it's up to us to change it. But thanks to Sagittarius season, we are feeling bold enough to say goodbye to the old to welcome in the new. And thanks to this Gemini full moon is completely revamping, reworking our mind. Like I said, it all begins with the mind. Before something manifests, it starts with energy first, and that energy becomes emotions. It becomes feelings. Those feelings become mental thoughts, right? It goes to the mind. And then after the mental process, it becomes physical. It becomes tangible. It becomes something that we can interact with. So that's how I see manifestation work. And this is why it is so very important. And this is why it is so profound that the final full moon of the year of 2019 has to do with our mind, because our mind controls, it dictates so much of our reality. So the full moon in Taurus, that was the full moon before this full moon in Gemini. The full moon in Taurus was November 12th, I believe. And the full moon in Taurus that we had around a month ago while in Scorpio season, did a video on that as well, and I'll link that down below. But I talked about how at that time, that energy was urging us to make a note, to take a note of our values, to assess them, to see what needs to be changed, added, or released. When we discovered that list of values that needed to be changed in order for us to see our potential, which is the energy of Sagittarius, and the season that we moved right into about a week later, about a week after that full moon in Taurus. When we created that new list of values, we began to develop this confidence because we realized our worth. And when we connected to that, we saw the possibility in a future that we previously could not see the way to. So that new list of values connected us to our worth, which gave us our confidence. And that confidence gave us the courage to go after our dreams. So this full moon in Gemini is the ending of that old life that kept our dreams locked away from us because we thought they were impossible. So this disposing of old information that no longer serves us is vital to our next step, because this is also the disposal of what we deemed as possible versus impossible. Okay, so another thing that I want to mention astrologically is the moon is also opposing Jupiter, who just moved into the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. And I'm also doing a pick a card reading on that as well, about Jupiter transiting into the sign of Capricorn, because Jupiter will spend about a year in Capricorn. But anyways, the way that I'm seeing this showdown of the moon opposing Jupiter is the moon again demanding our attention by saying we don't need to worry about the gifts or lessons that Jupiter is bringing, because right now we need to dump these old patterns and ways of thinking. If we keep the same mindset with these new opportunities that Jupiter is trying to bring into our life, we'll just simply sink these opportunities before they even have a chance to blossom into anything. So we won't be feeling that Jupiter energy just yet. And it takes time anyways to feel that shift in energy after a transit, but the moon is definitely contributing to that holdup with Jupiter for right now, because like I said, this full moon in Gemini is all about let's release those old ways, because if we don't release that old thinking, we're just going to take these new opportunities and taint them with the past. Jupiter is also edging closer and closer and closer to the South Node, which I really haven't heard people mentioning a lot just yet for some reason, at least not that I've personally heard. But I'm seeing this as Jupiter reconnecting you to old or missed opportunities, because that's what the South Node is. It's kind of like the past, basically, in a general sense. So as Jupiter gets closer and closer and closer to that South Node, to the past, I'm seeing this as old or missed opportunities. So these opportunities that do start to come into your life, they will have a sort of familiar feel to them in some ways, but this is a shot at something that you previously wanted or took a swing at, and maybe things just didn't go how you wanted. But we're getting a new lease on life because we are dumping old beliefs and patterns and thinking. So we are encountering old opportunities, but they're more stable now thanks to Capricorn, and we have a new or completely different perspective thanks to this Gemini full moon and Sagittarius season in general. So it's like we have this new way of thinking, we have this new awareness, we have this fresh new perspective on life, and we're encountering all these old opportunities, but now these opportunities are a lot more stable because Capricorn is an earth sign. Earth sign is all about stability. Okay, so this is a really good thing. If there's any sort of opportunities that you feel you've been passed up on, or you feel you've missed out on, or you feel that you wanted a second chance at, these are coming up again. For sure. Jupiter coming closer and closer and closer to the south node, and Capricorn, all the changes that Capricorn has been going through with Pluto and Saturn and the south node being in the sign of Capricorn for over like the last year now, has been really shaking things up a lot. I explained this in one of my videos, one of my newer full moon videos. I forget which one it was, but I explained how Pluto and Saturn being in the sign of Capricorn, Pluto is kind of like the water moving through Capricorn, moving through Saturn, moving through that south node, moving through our past. It's like the water that formed the Grand Canyon. Water formed the Grand Canyon, just running water. And as gentle as water is, it's very powerful all at the same time, and it can carve out a completely new structure in the face of the earth into rock. So that is exactly what Pluto is doing. It is a water element. It is deep. It is a deep diver. It's a deep thinker. It's all about transformation. It's all about death. It's all about progressing to that next phase or that next state. But at the same time, it transforms, and it transforms slowly. Pluto's the slowest moving planet in our solar system. So it is slowly shaping out our past, slowly shaping out the things that we considered stable, the things that we looked to, the values that we looked to make us feel secure and safe. This could be people, this could be relationships, this could be money, this could be work, this could be a job, this could be our status, this could be anything that we have attached ourselves to in terms of value, the things it is that we value in life. So this is a really exciting time as these things, as your past is being transformed, and as Jupiter is moving closer and closer and closer to the past, to that south node. Jupiter brings opportunities. Jupiter in his own element, is in his own nature, he's very jubilant, he's very expansive, he brings a lot of opportunities, he brings a lot of different gems and gifts and lessons as well, and a lot of wisdom. So Jupiter combining with the past is bringing up all these past missed opportunities, all these old opportunities that have been getting transformed thanks to Pluto, Saturn, and the south node. So the amazing thing about this, with Jupiter meeting this past, is like these old things are going to come back up in your life, but the thing is that they're going to be a lot more stable. You're going to have a completely different perspective. You're going to be more well-traveled now at this point, because it's like, oh, I've been all around the world, or not literally, but it's like I've been through all these other challenges and lessons, and I feel like now I am completely ready. So you have these older opportunities coming back, but they've been transformed, and you yourself have been transformed. So we have these two transformed entities coming together to create something completely brand new, and there's so much beauty in that. All right, so another thing that I do want to mention that I'm getting a kind of rough feeling from is Mercury, who is also in the sign of Sagittarius. So Mercury rules the way we think, like I was saying earlier, in communication. So he may be triggering during this time because he's really covering a lot of ground in terms of our mindset and how we think. And this is going to be sort of intense because the full moon is happening in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by none other than Mercury. So Mercury is making way for us to implement this fresh new mindset by revisiting old ones. And so this may be a bit jarring to encounter thoughts that we want to get rid of or reshape. It'll be mentally exhaustive as well, because we'll be processing and digesting so much mentally. So make sure you are being patient with yourself. If you feel like you can't mentally get yourself together, take some time to slow down your brain waves or to relax your mind by not focusing or multitasking or overworking yourself. Also, do not procrastinate, and really try to manage your schedule in a way where you're not feeling overwhelmed, because it's going to be easy for us to get mentally overworked or to mentally exhaust ourselves during this time, during this full moon. The last astrological placement that I want to mention is Mars, who is still in the sign of Scorpio, causing all sorts of ruckus. And I say that because Scorpio is a deep diver. I've talked about him as well, but I did mention at one point in time how I see the water signs. And so I see Cancer as the ocean, I see Pisces Pisces as the ecosystem, the life living in that ocean. And I see Scorpio as the very depths of that ocean, the bottom floor, where it's like we don't even know what's down there because it's so damn deep. That is Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed water sign. So he travels deep into the emotional abyss to become aware of unconscious truths. Scorpio only deals with the nasty, dirty, gritty, unconscious, scary place. I call our unconscious like the trash bin of ourselves, where we throw away all the things of ourselves that we say isn't acceptable, that we don't like, that other people don't like, that society doesn't like. These are all the parts of ourselves that we kind of discarded of because other people rejected it, or something or someone, or maybe ourselves, maybe we rejected certain parts of ourselves. So it gets thrown away into our unconscious. Scorpio lives in the unconscious. So basically, he's all about becoming aware of unconscious truths. And that is why he is ruled by Pluto, the god of death and transformation. But Scorpio is also ruled by Mars, the god of war, who, like I say all the time on my channel, Mars is our purpose. He's our drive, our ambition. Mars is the reason that we get up in the morning and do what we have to do. He is reason. So with our purpose, Mars, living at the depths of our emotional being, Scorpio, we are diving deep in every single facet of ourselves, emotionally, because of this scorpionic energy, mentally, because of this full moon in Gemini, and spiritually, thanks to Jupiter and Sagittarius, we are being called to explore the depths of our soul, the truth of our soul. This final full moon is beginning the ultimate transformation, so we can bring in fresh new opportunities, blessings, perspectives, energetic shifts, and healing, all in time for the new year 2020, which is a topic in itself that I'll be talking about soon in a completely separate video. So the way that I'm seeing this full moon in Gemini energy sort of manifest in our lives, just a few examples would be like, maybe you've had issues with your relationships in the past. Maybe you're just like really looking for that right partner. Like I said, Sagittarius connects us to potential. And so that partner that you may be asking for has the potential to be your twin flame, has the potential to be your soulmate, has the potential to be your soul partner, has the potential to be your equal. That is what we truly want when we are looking for companionship, when we are looking for relationships. We're looking for our equal. We're looking for someone to walk this life with, but not in a way where they inhibit us, not in a way where we block them, not in a way where we restrict them, but in a way where we can grow and learn together. But anyways, so for example, the way that this full moon in Gemini would manifest for someone like that would be, you know, I've learned all these lessons from these previous relationships, and now that I'm seeing the potential that my partner has, I'm seeing that they have the potential to be my equal, I'm going to match that partner that I'm looking for, that partnership that I'm looking for. I'm going to match it with the same energy. I'm going to align with that same energy by aligning my mindset. So I need to get rid of these old mindsets. I need to get rid of these old insecurities. I need to get rid of these old things that kind of had my relationships in a tailspin, or these old mindsets that had me attracted to one type of person, or to a toxic behavior, to a toxic sort of person, or to a toxic environment. I'm releasing these old ways of thinking, these old ways of communicating. That the way I can match the energy of the potential it is that I'm trying to manifest. That the way I can match the energy of this thing, whatever it is, and its own potential. Because when something reaches its own potential, it is going above and beyond its own limits, because it's reaching potential. Potential is not limiting. That's what we talk about when we talk about potential. We are talking about, man, this can become anything. What do you want it to become? So in order to match your vibration with potential, whatever that potential may be, whether it's relationship, money, job, work, life, your health, habits, patterns, cycles, whatever it is, instead of you walking into that first date as, oh, this could be my next girlfriend or boyfriend or partner or lover or whatever, you need to walk into that situation looking at it as, I'm looking for my equal, not just a boyfriend, not just a girlfriend, not just a partner, my equal. I'm looking for a companion, somebody that I can truly experience his life with. And so that's just a little example of how this energy can manifest. But basically, fill in the blanks of whatever that potential may be, whatever that potential is. you have to operate on that same vibration. And the only way to operate on that same vibration is for your mind, for your consciousness, for your psyche to be also in alignment with that vibration. You have to also mentally be walking into these situations like, yeah, this opportunity feels familiar. Yeah, this is an opportunity here. I'm going on this first date, and this opportunity feels like, oh my goodness, I might have a relationship again, but it's not the same opportunity. It's completely reworked. It's completely different. It's completely transformed. Now, instead of this being just a relationship, this could be a soul partner. Now, instead of this just being this has the potential to be that. So I need to match my mindset to it. And that is exactly how this full moon in Gemini is going to be sort of manifesting in your life. And like I said, you fill in the blanks of what that potential is. But this is all about mentally matching the potential of the thing it is that we are trying to become, the thing that we're trying to attract, the thing that we're trying to manifest. We're going to be moving on to the herbs, oils, crystals, candles, and other objects you can use for this Gemini full moon. And when it comes to herbs, oils, crystals, candles, objects, things it is that you guys can use, I like to really keep it general. I like to keep it really basic. I like to keep it so that it's affordable and so that it's easy for you guys to get your hands on. It's not necessarily about the object. It's more so about your own intention, your own energy, your own heart, your own mindset, what it is that you want. Okay, so you don't have to use any of these objects, but for those of you that are looking for a few ideas as to what it is that you can use, if you just sort of feel like getting your hands dirty or using certain things, utilizing certain objects, here's some ideas. As far as herbs and oils, that would be basil, parsley, lavender, dill, lemongrass, peppermint, valerian, burdock, sage, and as well as all these herbs, oils, crystals, and candles will be in the description box down below. And as far as crystals go, crystals that I will be using, crystals that I recommend for this full moon in Gemini will be hematite, chrysocolla, tiger's eye, blue lace agate, celestine, citrine, moonstone, bloodstone, and clear quartz. I will also leave a list of all of these crystals that I've mentioned down below in the description box, as well as a few of their properties. So some objects that I'll be using will be a bottle of water. And so I've talked about this before. Water is something that can be easily changed to match your vibration. So what I'm going to be doing for this full moon in Gemini is actually taking a bottle of water, setting my intentions, putting my energy into this water. So I'll be drinking this water a sip a day, every single day until the next full moon. And that's how I like to do it. So that the way I get the entirety of this energy. And that is another way to really transform the cells in your body, because there are millions and millions and millions of cells in our body that are constantly listening to us. And basically what they do is they listen to our thoughts, they listen to our emotions, they listen to our actions, they listen to everything it is that we do and everything it is that we consume. These cells basically emulate, they mirror it right back to us. So basically I really like to kind of do this every now and then, and it's like a reset to my body. It's like a reset to my cells. It's a reset to my entire being. But for me, one thing that I'm going to be doing around the full moon in Gemini, and you also want to consult a medical professional. I am not that, so please consult a medical professional before doing something like this. But I'll actually be doing something called a water fast, and that is where I will just drink and consuming water for 24 hours around the time of the full moon. And there are so many amazing benefits to water fasting. They say 24 hours in water fasting can completely rework the cells in your body. Water fasting has so many benefits. Probably one of the craziest benefits that really got me into water fasting is and I like to do this not often. This is like once every few months or so. I have to really work myself up to this because I love food. I'm a Taurus sun, you guys. I love to eat. I love food. But you know, I have to really work myself, my mind, my body up, my energy, my spirit up to do something like this, because it's odd. Like the effects that it'll have on you is it'll kind of play with you a little bit, to where it's like you're craving everything because your body is resisting those urges. So it's like you only want it because you're saying no. That's the crazy part about water fasting. One of the benefits that I really love about water fasting is there's a process called autophagy. I think that's what it's called. It's basically a process where old parts of your cells, they are broken down and recycled. And this can protect you against diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, diabetes. This also really helps the cardiovascular health. And it's just as simple as not having any sort of solid foods, just going on a water diet. And basically what it does is this water fasting really helps stop or keeps damaged parts of the cells from reproducing. Fasting in general, intermittent fasting is something that I do every single day. I only eat one meal a day. Again, you guys, this is not something that I am promoting. This is not something I'm trying to tell you guys to do. These are just different things that I'm going to be doing specifically for this full moon. Intermittent fasting is something that I do every day. I've been doing that for over like a year and a half, 2 years now. And my body thrives off of intermittent fasting, and that's just where, you know, you stop eating after a certain point and allow your body to do all of the work it is that it needs to do. Because when our body is consuming food, when it is eating, it is expending a lot of energy to break down that food, to metabolize, to process, to digest that food. So our body spends a lot of energy and a lot of time breaking down foods. I think they say that it takes like anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to digest a steak or something like that. That's almost a third of your day. There's 24 hours in a day, and if your body is spending 4 to 6 hours just to break down something like a steak, and not to mention they tell us to eat 3 times a day, they tell us to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 snacks in between, your body is never going to be done processing the things it is that it needs to process. So by the time that it's done processing those meals, you're waking up to eat again. And so the body hardly ever gets a chance to regulate and to do the other processes that it needs to do, because the body is performing millions of functions at once all throughout the day. And so that's why it's so important for our body to rest, and not just when you're sleeping, but you also want to kind of rest your body from eating throughout the day if you can. Now, this is different for every single person because people work with different jobs. People have different labor intensive jobs, things like that. So, you know, if you are physically exerting yourself and things like that, you're probably gonna have to eat a little bit differently. You may have to eat a little bit more, you know, things like that, especially if you have certain things going on with your own physical health and body. That's why I say to consult your medical professionals. Do not look at this video and say, oh yeah, you know, you do it, so I should be fine. No, I don't want any of you guys passing out or doing anything crazy. Make sure you consult your medical professional, consult yourself, see what works for you, see what makes sense to you, see what speaks to you. But this is just something that I'm going to be doing because I really am just trying to cleanse out my entire body, my entire system, my entire mind, my energy. I just want to do a complete, like, you know how we do spring cleaning in our house? I like to do spring cleaning in my body every 3 to 4 months, especially when the seasons change. So, but like I always say, you guys, be intuitively led when it comes to these, you know, rituals and things like that, because it's really important for your own being to resonate with certain things. And I've kind of just allowed my being to just sort of go to different crystals and herbs and things that it wants to work with when it comes to these rituals, because I find that when I'm intuitively led instead of listening to what works for someone else, I find that my manifestations, I find what it is that I'm trying to bring in or get rid of, it really, really works, and it really intensifies because my being has been drawn to it. You know, every living being is a complex mixture of elements. All these different celestial bodies, all these different comets and things were in a different position at the moment in time that you were born. And when all these different elements mixed together, they made up you. We are literally just a manifestation of different energies mixing together, combusting together, repelling each other, blowing up in our face. You know, we're basically like a big ass science project where all these different ingredients are added together in a pot to see what becomes. And this experiment could explode in our face or sprout into a flower or do absolutely nothing at all. That's why I say it is so very important for you to just be drawn, to just be naturally drawn to what it is that works with you. All right, so before we get to the cards, the tarot cards and the oracle cards here, you guys know how I do things on my channel. And if you don't because you're new or for whatever reason, then allow me to explain. Before I dive into the energy of the cards and the messages it is that they are bringing from your guides, from collective energy, I like to always issue the disclaimer that this is a general reading that is for the entirety of the collective. So that means that there will be very many different people seeing this and hearing these messages. And in order for this message to resonate with your own individual spirit, you need to be intuitively synced into the energy of this reading. And to help you all do that, I'll be providing a 30-second meditation for you guys to kind of get into that nice, calm, relaxed, trance-like mindset so that the way your intuition is active, it is stimulated, it is triggered, it is ready to go, and you will be able to discern which parts of the message are speaking specifically for you. Your intuition will also guide you throughout this message, and it'll fill in certain blanks for you. If you'd like to participate in that meditation, go on ahead, get nice, calm, and relaxed. Start by becoming aware of your own body. So bring your awareness down to your feet and work that awareness up in sections from your feet to your head. And once you are completely mindful of your own being, start by taking a deep breath in through your nose for around 5 seconds. Hold that breath for 3 seconds, then exhale out of your mouth for 6 to 7 seconds. And so when you are ready, we'll go on ahead and start that meditation right now. All right, hopefully that meditation helped you to connect to your own psychic knowing. I want to take this time to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, and beautiful spirit itself for delivering these messages, because Lord knows it's not me coming up with these messages. This is coming from collective energy, your beautiful guides, my beautiful guides in spirit. So I always like to take the time out to thank them and to give credit where credit is definitely due. Now let's go on ahead and get to the reading, okay? So we'll be starting off with the tarot cards first before making our way to the oracle cards. And I don't have as many oracle cards as I normally do. Normally my table is jam-packed full of cards for the new and full moons, but I didn't really feel like that was necessary for this. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the tarot cards first. And the very first card that we have here is the 10 of coins. So this card here I'm seeing as a culmination of every lesson that we have learned in 2019. These 10 coins down here are gems, fruits, knowledge that we gained. As you can see on this card, not all of these coins are equal. Some of them are gentle, kind, or exciting, like the key here, the rose, and the water. And then some of them are painful, inconvenient, and scary, like the nail, the thorns, and the tooth. But all of them, no matter their differences, have been fruitful for us. They've served their purpose, meaning that we have gained from our pain as much as we've gained from our victories and wins this year. The universe sees all what we have gone through as a means or a gift of hopefully answers, clarity, and strength, because the coin that's shining at the top of this card is the diamond, the ultimate priceless gem. This gem is evolution, it's progress, it's freedom, understanding, compassion, acceptance, it's strength, it's boundaries, it's respect, it's recognition, it's success, it's peace, it's love. And that's why we've endured so much to get this diamond. Hopefully you have battled your hardships and didn't allow them to drown you, because that was never the point for you to drown. The point was this diamond up here. The point was everything it is that we gained. The point was the progress that we made. The next card that we have here is the High Sage, otherwise known as the High Priestess. Beautiful. So this High Priestess, she's tying in so beautifully to this 10 of coins here, because like I said, all of these coins, different in value, they are different experiences, and they all led up to this point, this diamond at the top. The nails, thorns, and pain aren't as beautiful as the diamond, obviously. We don't understand how these things could become this gem, but it's needed all the same. That is you. You are this mystery. The High Priestess, you are this mystery box of compiled experiences, some painful and traumatic and life-changing, others are beautiful, thrilling, and exciting, but every experience has been needed to evolve you to this point, the diamond. The High Priestess comes in as a mystery because it's exactly what she is. She's not misunderstood because she can't be understood. You know, we can't understand her under the same process that is our consciousness, the same process that our consciousness goes through to comprehend something. But she's a mystery because she requires us to drop everything it is that we know and understand just so we can be in her presence. She connects us to the mysteries of life and everything we've gone through in 2019, where we didn't understand how this thorn that felt painful was a blessing, how these moments of difficulty would be our moments of triumph. We didn't understand because evolution is not meant to be understood. It's meant to be respected and admired and trusted trusted and appreciated, because when we trust, we are compensated by Spirit. Spirit makes a deal to all of its creations that if you trust in me, if you trust in Spirit, Spirit will always take care of you. You will always be okay. But when we don't trust and when we try to rely on what it is that we know, which isn't very much, we have to be very careful with the arrogance that comes attached to the words I know. And that's why we get humbled in life, because we don't know very much. I say this all the time. The only thing that I know is that I don't know anything because there's just so much that we still don't understand. When we don't trust and when we try to rely on what it is that we think we know, we usually end up becoming our own resistance. And this is about looking back and realizing how everything was always working out for our good, for this diamond. Everything was always working out for you. The next card that we have here is the Pillar, otherwise known as the Emperor. Beautiful. Wow. So I was just talking about Spirit, and this is Spirit coming through in this card right here. The Emperor is basically like the daddy of tarot, right? He's all about structure, having a clear plan and committing to it, because we must commit to something in order to move. So he is structure. He's a plan. He's reason, and he is purpose. This is Spirit coming through saying that all along when you felt stuck or suspended or afraid or alone or overwhelmed or felt like giving up, or maybe you felt happy, maybe you felt sad, maybe you felt confused, maybe you felt at peace, maybe you felt bored, at every step of the way, no matter what that feeling was, at every step of the way you were supported, because the Emperor is stability. That's all he is. It might not have felt like it, but you were supported even in your moments of doubt. And when you lost your faith, Spirit had you safely in its grasp the entire time. Now that we have passed through certain storms, we are able to look back and see not only that we got through it, but we were protected through all of it as well. We were never alone. We were never alone. So many of us go through this life alone because things have been taken from us, or people have betrayed us, or people have hurt us, or that source of comfort, that source of security that we thought was secure, that we thought was good, ended up being something completely different. It might not have felt like it, but you were supported. Even in your moments of doubt, when you lost your faith, Spirit had you safely in its grasp the entire time. So now that we have passed through certain storms, we're able to look back and see not only that we got through it, but we were protected through it as well. It all meant something. 10 of coins, this diamond here. The Emperor is coming through to say everything that you've been through meant something great for you. It meant this diamond for you. It meant this priceless gem for you. It meant evolution for you. Evolution is priceless because we can't regress. Once we've made it somewhere, we don't go back. And that's the amazing thing about evolution, is that every step is a step in the right direction. Every step is progress. It might not always feel like it sometimes, even when we're making mistakes. That's progress, because we have the opportunity to learn from those mistakes, to learn from the actions and the choices that we can look back and say that wasn't the best idea. Maybe not, but you still have the opportunity to have learned from that. I'm also seeing this Emperor card as a restructuring of the mind, new boundaries that we've constructed in our life. This energy is coming in to stabilize our momentum. We've had an eye-opening epiphany, right? And it's been brought on by this energy of the High Priestess. And to support this new life mindset and theory, we need to ferment it. We need to place foundation, but in order to do that, that requires us to transport our thoughts through a process until they become fact. So we evolve from theory or feeling or sensing, which is the High Priestess, to fact or actuality, which is the Emperor. So there's this whole transformational process, again, that we are seeing in the cards as well, where we are going from this mysterious, intangible place of the High Priestess into this very tangible, actual place that is the Emperor. The next card that we have here is the Chariot in reverse. So many major arcana cards right now. We got 3. Very interesting. I'm sorry. That's what I heard with this card for some reason, is I'm sorry. It's like an apology. Spirit, the universe is saying, I'm sorry. This is actual Spirit saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the things that you had to go through that were painful. I'm sorry for the thorns and the nails and the fear and for feeling alone. I'm sorry for the times where you felt directionless, unsupported, and attacked. For the times where the world, who is supposed to be your brother, your sister, your comrade, did not see you as a reflection of itself. I'm sorry for the moments of confusion and mystery like the high priestess. I'm sorry for not answering you when you called out to me. I'm sorry that you had to experience certain losses and say goodbye to things that you tried to hold on to. I'm sorry for being quiet in the moments where you wanted me to say something. I'm sorry you had to experience these lessons to get to this diamond, to get to this gem. But I had to show you that you were not alone, that I never left. I had to show you how to trust me and how to have faith and how to know, even through the roses, the thorns, and the keys, that there is a bigger purpose, that there is a more divine purpose, a greater purpose. I'm just asking you to trust me from here on out. This year was all about, if you've been doing the work, let me just say this, if you have been doing the work, and you know what that is, we don't have to get into that, you know what that is, but if you have been doing the work, this year was all about spirit showing itself to you, because from this point into the future, there will be so many more experiences, and your faith needs to be unwavering. It needs to be strong, to be ready, and to be potent. This year was all about building your faith, because with more faith comes greater blessings, but with those greater blessings comes more responsibilities. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. To whom much is given, much is required. We are always exchanging, giving, and taking, and it will always be worth it for us. But without faith, there is no purpose, because our purpose requires us to believe in a greater plan than what we can see or understand. That's what our divine purpose is. It's something that we don't necessarily understand. Our purpose is very high priestess, extreme. Our purpose is the high priestess. We don't know every step of the way. We don't know how to get to that purpose. And in order for you to complete your own sacred assignment, you have to be able to trust in spirit and yourself. So any goodbyes that you said, especially in 2019, was a way for the universe to get you alone. So you couldn't rely on anything else but your faith, but your own internal strength. Faith is so needed for you to go where you are destined to go, because the steps won't be laid out in black and white. They won't be written out for you to understand. So you have to know how to trust in something else besides what you know, besides what you think you know. We know nothing. And like I was saying before, the arrogance attached to the words "I know" has gotten so many of us in hot water, because we had to be humbled from that. The universe always comes through to humble us, to show us what it is that we do and don't know. The universe is always coming through to say, no, you think you get it, but you don't. When you know something, that means you've mastered it, right? When you know something, that means you've mastered it. If we have mastered it, that means that we have perfected something. We are not perfect beings. We're very imperfect for a reason. It's for a divine reason. We're imperfect because we're here to learn lessons. We're here to learn lessons because we're in the process of evolving. We're in the process of mastering something. We're in the process of mastering our own energy. We're in the process of mastering life. We're in the process of mastering existence. We're in the process of mastering our own being. But if you already know something, that means you've already mastered it. So what are you doing here? This life is not for perfect people. This life is not for the masters. This life is for beings that are willing to evolve, for beings that are willing to learn, for beings that are hungry for knowledge, that are hungry for wisdom, that is hungry for experience. But that requires our warrior to come out. That requires us to fight. A lesson is a challenge, and not in a bad way. It's not in a bad way. It's just lessons are things that are set up for us to challenge ourselves, to push even higher, to break outside what it is that we have already mastered. That the way we can keep going. We're never going to stop mastering things. We're never going to stop learning things, because we never stop evolving, which means that there's plenty more for us to learn. Don't ask the universe to come in and humble you, because that's exactly what you're asking for when you say, I know something. No, we can feel something, we can sense something, we can believe in something, but we can't know anything. This year, this 2019, especially this full moon in Gemini, is all about dropping what you think you know and embracing everything you don't. That's why the high priestess is here. She's all about drop what you know, drop what you think you know, and come embrace what you don't know. Drop the light and come embrace an environment. I'm not going to say the darkness, because some people get freaked out by that. Like, oh, you worship the devil? No, the fuck I don't. Darkness is not evil. Different topic for a different day. But anyways, you know, the high priestess is saying, let go of the light, because when it's light, we can see everything. If I were to turn the light off on my camera right now, you wouldn't be able to see what it is that I'm doing. The high priestess is saying, turn that light off. Come explore something where you don't know where everything is, where you don't know what everything looks like, where you have to rely on your senses and not what you know. That's what the High Priestess is asking of us. She's asking for us to completely embrace life. Life is full of things that we don't know. That's when greatness is birthed. When we embrace the things that we don't know, that's when impossible heights are not only reached, but we surpass them. We surpass what it is that we say is possible. So the impossible becomes possible. That is when that happens. The next card that we have here is, well, the last tarot card is the Three of Cups in reverse. Wow. Yeah, saying goodbye to what we thought was ours, to what we thought brought us joy, to what felt familiar, to attachments. This is Spirit acknowledging those goodbyes and your pain of having to say goodbye. But what I'm getting even stronger here, and I don't know why, because it's in reverse, but I'm seeing this as what you lost is coming back threefold. Even if you lost a relationship or a person, it might not be that actual person that's returning, but it's the love or the union or the support or the partnership or the companionship that's coming back into your life. The companionship that you should have had if you didn't have it, or the companionship that you deserve to have once again. Whatever you had to say goodbye to is returning in a way where it will fill up your heart. It will make the pain of these experiences so worth it. Like when a woman gives birth, the labor is excruciating. Women have even died in birthing a child, but the gift makes the pain, makes the risk so worth it. And I don't have kids, so I'm not sure about that, but it's what I've heard. I've heard that, giving birth is extremely painful, and I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah, it's just what I've heard. But it's kind of like that, where how like when a woman gives birth, she's in extreme pain throughout that labor. But once she gives birth, when she's holding that life, it's like, oh my goodness, I don't even remember that pain. That pain has nothing on this unconditional love that has come into my life to give me this much fulfillment, to give me this much joy, to give me this much peace. So let's go on ahead and check out these oracle cards here. See what else it is that we're seeing for this full moon in Gemini. The very first card that we have is the universe. Interesting. No. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. Beautiful. Nourish. Let go. Divine destiny. Path of the divine warrior. And mother of life, nourishment of the golden grain mother. Beautiful. Okay, so starting off with the card no. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. What I'm getting with this card is you need to follow your heart. Many of you may still be going through something like this storm that's raging in the background of this card. There's a very intense storm going on. And it's interesting because this deck was one of the very first oracle decks that I ever purchased. And I've only seen this card maybe once, maybe twice, maybe. Big maybe. And the power that I'm feeling from this card is crazy. It's substantial. It's crazy what I'm getting from this card, but you need to follow your heart. Whatever it is that you may be struggling to say goodbye to, or no to, or to create some boundaries with, you know what you need to do. I don't feel like this card needs interpreting, because some of you know exactly what this card is, and I don't want to interfere with whatever decision you're trying to come to right now, but you'll know exactly what this is when you see this card. Moving on to let go and nourish. So yeah, let go is pretty self-explanatory, right? But this nourish card, there's something very interesting happening here. Do you guys see what's going on here? Half of the planet, half of the globe is in water. Let me just hold it up. Half of the planet is in water, as you guys can see. So obviously half of the planet has been destroyed by being entrenched in this ocean. It's destroying half of the planet, but the card says nourish. That's because your nourishment came from destruction. Your wisdom came from lessons. Your liberation came from suffocation. Your blessings came from pain. Your answers came from confusion. Your life came from death. This card is saying there's a complete cycle that we're going through. In order for you to get here, you got to go through there. In order for you to get there, you got to go through here. It's all connected. And then moving on to mother of life, we have another card here talking about nourishment. It says nourishment of the golden grain mother. Mother of life. When we ask the universe for things, the universe first responds by saying, well, make some room. And I talked about this in a couple of my videos. I'm always talking about feminine and masculine energy and how it works together, how it manifests. Because there's no such thing as dead or empty space. Life, energy, matter, it is in everything and it takes up everything. So when something is born, it's not necessarily created, it's placed. It comes in. It was already there. It just hadn't arrived into your life or your environment or your reality yet. So when we make room for what we ask of the universe, it delivers our request. When we make room, we are giving up our experiences. We're giving up our past, whatever it is we choose to sacrifice for this thing to come in. We give something away back to the universe so the universe can create or deliver more life to another entity. When we get greedy and try to hold on to anything, that is when we create resistance for ourselves, because the universe can't create, remember? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It simply just recycles. That's all it's doing. So when you hold on to something, you work against that flow. You work against that flow, that nourishing flow. And you're a part of that flow. So you also end up working against your own self. That's how we end up supporting and giving back to the universe, by releasing all of the things that we don't want or need or are willing to let go of. Some people say, well, we need anger, we need this, we need pain, we need that, we need whatever it is. Okay, maybe that's what you think. In my opinion, to hold on to pain is choosing to suffer. The universe doesn't ask that of us. The universe says, deliver it right back to me. Sometimes things are taken from us, but it's because we are part of the collective flow of energy that cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be recycled. So allow the universe, allow the cosmos to flow through you. Do not be resistance to the universe, because that's something that we will never win at. We will never win at resisting the universe. The universe is just too powerful. And we are a part of the universe. So when we're resisting the universe, we resist and we work against us. We resist and we work against ourselves, okay? And moving on to divine destiny and the universe. Path of the divine warrior, it says here. Yes, you have to be a warrior, just like there's a sword on this let go card. You have to be a warrior to be able to take those thorns and those nails and those teeth, and to survive those storms, to endure the moments where we are submerged under the sea, like this nourish card, to be able to say goodbye, like this 3 of Cups in reverse, to let go. The entire spread is all about acknowledging where you've been, what you've gone through, any mistakes you've made. The universe and spirit doesn't care about the mistakes you've made, about the steps that you've taken thus far, because you're still here. So you're still given a chance to rewrite that if you want. The universe and spirit doesn't care about any of these things. None of us were made perfect. The universe and spirit understands that. It's us that has a very difficult time understanding that. The universe and spirit understands that we don't know everything. It's us that has a hard time accepting that we don't know everything. None of us were made perfect. That's why we are here, to go through lessons, because those lessons teach us. Something or someone that is perfect doesn't need to learn anything, like I was saying before, right? We are evolving every lesson and every step of the way. We are slowly being transformed by this unconditionally loving being and universe, this higher power, God, the divine, the creator, the most high, whatever you refer to it as, created universal laws, but not just so its subjects will be subservient and follow these laws, but even the most high follows the laws it has set in place for its own creations, because even the most high understands that it is a part of this greater whole, that it is a part of this universe. That's why some people call God, call the divine the all, because it is everything. So it is also a part of this universe. It follows its own laws that it set in place for its creations. Even the divine will not break its own promises. If that was the case, why would we be expected to stay committed to following these laws? We are already given free will, which is the right to choose. The right to choose to flow with or against the universal collective. The universe will never break its promise to you. God will never break its promise to you. And that promise was for you to always be taken care of, for everything that chooses to be in cooperation with the universe, to work towards your highest and greatest good. Every being that allows itself to flow with the universe is your ally. So this is all about saying no, letting go, and flowing. That's how you nourish yourself. Your pains and past and mistakes and hardships and traumas and joy, it's all been a part of this flow to get to this diamond, to receive that diamond. Not everything that happens is ordered by the universe, because remember, we have free will to choose to work with or against. Me personally, I will always choose to work with, because I benefit, you benefit, we all benefit. So this spread is Spirit saying, I acknowledge everything that you've been through, and I'm sorry for the hard parts, the pain, and for your encounters with beings that are working against you, me, and this universe. I'm sorry that you had to encounter that resistance. I'm sorry that you had to encounter beings that choose to resist. And I will right the wrongs done to you, because it's all a flow. So it doesn't matter what choice you make. At the end of the day, we are powerless when it comes to the universe, because we are a part of it. And that is how the divine, the creator, keeps everything in order, because it's like, at the end of the day, you're just mirroring everything it is that you choose to do. You're just a reflection of everything it is that you choose to do. So if you want to choose to go against, you're choosing to go against yourself. So it's all up to you. That's why we have free will. I'm hearing Spirit say it will right the wrongs that's been done to you, because it's all about a flow. So let go and allow the universe to flow, and you will flow right along with it to your own divine destiny and to your own purpose. And everyone's getting there at their own pace and at their own speed, because we're all learning and growing and evolving at our own pace and at our own speed. Some of us are making decisions that we know we shouldn't make. It's usually not about what we do and don't know. It's usually about what we do and don't want to do. The beauty in this full moon in Gemini, this final full moon, is Spirit saying, I acknowledge where you've been. I acknowledge what's been taken from you. I acknowledge what's been stolen from you. I acknowledge the evolutionary process that you had to go through. I acknowledge the rites of passage that you had to go through. I acknowledge your pain. I acknowledge the growing pains. I acknowledge all of it. The beautiful, the terrible, and the ugly. I acknowledge all of it. And I am so sorry. You are a creation of this universe, of Spirit. Spirit loves you because you are it. You are Spirit. You are a part of Spirit. And whatever pain it is that you feel, Spirit feels. Whatever pain it is you feel, the universe feels. That's why when we hurt another living being, we hurt ourselves. And it's 11:11 right now. But it's so important to understand that what we do, it comes back. And this is Spirit just acknowledging and saying the things that have happened to you, the choices that you have made, all of these things, they were all done in free will. And I'm sorry for anything that you've had to go through that was unnecessarily painful. But I'm going to right these wrongs. I'm going to right all these wrongs. And you will see why all of these things happened. Not everything, because some things, like I said, weren't ordered by the universe. Some things were just other beings making choices and decisions on their own. But for the parts that were ordered by the universe and ended up feeling a little uncomfortable, ended up feeling painful, ended up feeling inconvenient, ended up feeling awkward, ended up feeling lonely, the parts that the universe did order and set those emotions in place, the universe and Spirit is saying it was all for a divine purpose. So just trust me, because the price of you trusting in me is me securing and providing you with everything it is that you could ever need or want, with this diamond, with this priceless gem, with evolution, with peace. That is what comes when we trust in Spirit, when we trust the universe. Everything is give and take. Everything is balance. So if we are giving trust, then that means that we are going to be receiving something for trusting, for having faith. And what it is that you receive is this priceless gem that nothing else in the universe can give to you besides the divine, besides the Most High. Only the Most High can give you this priceless gem, this diamond. And that's what you're working towards. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like, it's almost like Spirit's way of saying like goodbye to this 2019 and saying goodbye to your past, saying goodbye to our past. Because Spirit is also in this journey with us. It's not just like God is just up there just kind of watching. In my opinion, I feel as though Spirit is working through us in many different ways. And that's why we're here, because we're all expressions of the divine. So I feel as though whatever choices and decisions it is that we make, it's also affecting the divine. It's affecting everything because it's all connected, you know? So I feel as though, yeah, the creator is this ultimate being, but it's also this being that's very humble and is very with us along every single step of the way. And spirit, I feel, is just acknowledging that, and is just saying the wrongs that have been done to you will be righted, because these wrongs weren't just done to you, they were also done to me. And that's why spirit is walking hand in hand with you right now. And that's why spirit is delivering you to a 2020, to this fresh new energy, this fresh new year, where you are embracing your purpose because it's time. Because you've been through all these different lessons to embrace your purpose. You've been through all these different lessons to enhance your faith. Jupiter is faith. And I'll be talking about that in that pick a card that I'm doing for this Jupiter and Capricorn transit. But Jupiter is faith. And all these different lessons that we've been through in 2019 was to set us up to have this unwavering, strong faith. Because that's what's going to be required to move towards this priceless gem. Because we can't see that priceless gem yet. It's not right in front of us. It's not dangling right in front of us. It's not doing anything. We can't see it, but we can feel it. We can imagine it in our mind's eye. We dream of it. Faith is the only thing powerful enough to power through all your challenges and obstacles to getting to that diamond. And that's what Spirit's doing for us. It's giving us this gift of, hey, faith. I'm here. I'm right here with you. What happens to you happens to me. And that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. Okay, so this is all that I'm seeing, you guys, for this tarot spread here. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I pray this reading brought you guys some love, support, clarity, and strength. This reading took a lot out of me. It was almost a little emotional, honestly. I don't know why. It kind of feels like saying goodbye to something for some reason. Yeah, I definitely want to thank your guides, my guides, our higher self, beautiful spirit itself, for such an amazing, awesome message today. I pray this reading brought you guys some love, support, clarity, and strength. Hopefully you all come back to visit me sometime soon. But until next time, you guys stay safe, stay blessed, keep conquering the world, keep being amazing. Hold your faith. Hold your faith like the priceless artifact that it is. And let's get ready to conquer 2020. Let's get ready to make 2020 ours. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back next time. Okay. Bye, guys.